What's going on, guys? Vincent with Fit to Succeed. Going to be doing a squat tutorial / tips. Basically, I'm going to show you how to do a squat by showing you how I show my clients. This is the best way I can explain it. It works a lot better when you're in person, but I'm going to do my best over video. Hopefully it helps somebody out. Now, remember, I got a nice fancy Instagram, Facebook, this YouTube stuff, and if you want some Fit to Succeed gear, it is in a Teespring link down below, as well as contact information to get a hold of me if you have any questions, or if you're looking for an online personal trainer. With that being said, let's get into the video now. Alright, so when I first meet a client, instead of saying, okay, let me see how you squat, I'd rather avoid that because I don't know if they're gonna get hurt just by showing me they can't squat. So I just have them sit down in a chair, in a box, in a bench, somewhere they can sit. Ideally low enough to where it's an actual squat. Sometimes it's a little higher just because it's not a squat. So for example, this here is not low enough to be considered a squat. Your hip line needs to be at the same level as your knee or lower. This is just slightly above my knee, but it can pass as a squat if you don't know what you're looking for. So I have them sit down, and then I just say, okay, from there, just stand up. What I'm looking for is, do they lean forward and then stand up? If they lean forward, they're putting pressure on their lower back to help them stand up, which is what we want to avoid. So after I see that they can't do it, I say, okay, let's fix your feet, or let's fix your stance. A lot of times they're sitting like this. Feet are pulled all the way back, knees are pulled all the way forward. So when they stand up, they'll step forward like this, or they'll lean forward on their toes, and then you can twist your ankle if you do it that way. So push your feet flat, nice and flat. Wiggle your toes. Can you wiggle your toes? Wiggle the toes. Don't lift the feet, don't lift them. Wiggle the toes only, very slightly. If you can wiggle your toes, then that means the pressure when you stand up is directly down your leg, all the way to your heel and the middle of your foot. It needs to be in this spot here in order for you to squat correctly. Now, when they stand up, a lot of times, even if their feet are flat, they'll still lean forward, and that's because they're too far back in the chair. So I have them sit as close to the edge as possible. Then I have them stick their arms out. The reason their arms are out is because this puts their back in a straight posture. This doesn't. They're just standing up like this, and they're not used to squatting. They're gonna stand up like this. So we need to get them to get used to the posture by putting their arms out, squeezing their back just like this. And then from there is when they can stand up. And a lot of times you'll see this, right? And they're struggling. That's good. They're struggling because their body is not used to the proper posture as far as the waist above. They're used to being slouched and rounded, which is normal for almost everybody. It is very hard to keep a straight posture. So that's why we have the hands up. From there, then I have them stand straight up, straight back down, and sit down. A lot of times when they stand up, and as they're coming back down, they'll do this. And that's because partly they don't know if the chair is there, as well as they're so used to sitting a certain way, they just develop the habit. So they have to, you can't do this part for them. They have to mentally think about up straight, stand straight up straight, sit straight back down. Once they got that, look at the knees. Are your knees going in? Are they too far out? They need to be in line with your toes. A lot of people say shoulder width is good, which is great. That helps me. I'm slightly a little further, and that's gonna depend on where your leg connects to your hips and all the fun science stuff. Everybody's different. How tall, how short are you? Things like that. That's gonna distinguish where your legs are gonna be. And that's where you gotta play with, okay, where am I comfortable enough? Where does it not hurt? As well as, are my feet flat? There's a lot to think about. Once you find your posture, your technique, your foot stance. You gotta remember that, because that's where your stance is gonna be throughout the whole squat. So once you figure that out, arms out, stand straight up, sit back down. Reset your feet if you have to, make sure everything's good, and then repeat. Once you get used to that, you can do a touch and go. You're basically going to stand straight up, touch, go, touch, go, the whole time. That's getting used to the squat movement. Then you'll be able to go lower and lower. After you get used to the box squat, you want to do a front squat. Front squat is basically you're holding a weight in front of you and you're squatting. What this is going to help you do is help you increase the strength in your quads to help you stay upright and go straight up in the squat. So I'm going to use a medicine ball. You can use any kind of weight you want, as long as you can comfortably hold it here. You can use a dumbbell, which you'll hold like this, right? As long as you're here, your back is straight, you're holding the weight, and you can stand straight up. So not only is this increasing your quads to help you squat, it's increasing the lower back strength, because this weight is going to want to pull you forward. You're using your lower back to stay upright, which is important in a squat, because when you squat, especially with weight on you, you don't want to lean forward, stand up, and stand up. I can already feel tension in my back when I do that, and it's not good. You throw your back out that way. So make sure everything is straight. This comes with time and practice. You have to be patient with the squat. A squat is considered an advanced exercise because not everybody can do it properly. Now you can squat without the box, and you can either choose to do it with the weight or without weight. Same idea, find your stance, down, up. If you're finding yourself going down doing this, then you need to just bend those knees a little more, straighten that back out. A lot of times people can't go this low. That's fine. It's not ideal for a lot of trainers. For me, I say go as low as you comfortably can without injuring yourself. That goes with you knowing where your limits are. Okay, you have to be aware of yourself. If you're not aware of yourself, don't go this low. Just go about right here, up and down. You can see my toes are pointed out because that's comfortable for me, and it helps my knees go out. You don't want to do this, right? Knees out, activate your butt. Here, down, up. Back straight, knees are out. I'm looking forward and down, up, right? You don't want to look up like this because it's going to want to pull you back and you're going to fall backwards, lose your balance. That's why you look forward and down. Make sure everything is straight. Now that you've gotten comfortable with box squat, bodyweight squat, weighted front squat, you want to try using the barbell now. There's two ways you can do it. Everything else is the same. The only difference is the bar. Okay, it's going to have a bit of a different pressure on your back, and that's just something, like I said, you got to get used to. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can either do a high bar squat, which the bar sits up top. High bar, low bar. High bar is up top, low bar is right down here. You're using your rear delt to keep that bar up. Personally, I do a low bar. It's more comfortable for me on my back as well as on my neck. Low bar is slowly becoming more of a preference in the fitness world, but you do what's comfortable for you as long as everything else is the same. Now, you want to be able to go straight down, straight up, but you also need to know how to brace. So I'm going to get in my position, and usually the bar for me is just by my chest. See, my shoulders are up here because it's going to sit around this area, so I want it lower That way I don't have to struggle on lifting it off the hooks. Set, underneath. Both feet are underneath the bar. I'm not staggered, okay? I'm not away from it. Both feet under. I'm getting my position. Like I said, I'm a low bar squatter. And then from here, all I'm doing is standing straight up, okay? Make sure both feet are under the bar and planted. Because when the weight gets heavier, you'll get injured. Then all I'm gonna do is take a small step forward, find my stance. Now we talk about bracing. My elbows are up to keep the weight from rolling down. My back is straight, head is neutral. I'm in my squat stance. Breathe in through your stomach. You can see my stomach sticking out. That's gonna brace your spine. Breathe in, hold the breath, go down while you're holding the breath. Push out, breathe out. A lot of times too, my squat stance is a little too close. Let's try widening it. You're here, breathe in. Just like that. The more you add weight, the harder it gets. So you need to make sure that if you're going down and you're going too fast up, a lot of times you're gonna rock. And then all this is gonna happen, all this extra movement you don't need. If you notice you're rocking forward, or when you're going up, your hips are going up and then you're back, try doing pause squats. Down, pause, make sure you wiggle your toes, stand straight back up. All right, so quick, very quick. It does take a lot longer to learn, it takes practice and time. There's other ways, progressions you can look up if you need to, if this didn't help you. But if it did, you know, let me know. Excuse me, thumbs up, comments. If you want me to discuss anything else, feel free to let me know. We'll get into it. Like I said in the beginning, description has all the information. You got your Facebook, your Instagram, as well as Teespring. And if you're looking for online personal training, I can help you out. If you're looking for something quick, let me know. I can just pull some kind of program together really quickly. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next time, probably either Saturday or Sunday, and get going.